Greetings, everyone. So today we are going to talk about writing effective conclusions for your essays. And just like the handout that we went through on writing introductions, this one is from UNC Chapel Hill, and I will link it in the description box below. You should definitely read through the handout carefully, and when you're writing, go back and review it. So I would review this every time you're writing a paper, just to give yourself a refresher on different strategies that you can use to write a really good conclusion. So in the same way that it's important to start really strong and grab your reader's attention using various strategies for your introductory paragraph, it's also important to finish strong, right? And the goal really is to encourage your audience to continue to think about this topic, right? Your job is to convince your audience that the issue that you're writing about is worthy of their time and something that they need to explore further. So if we kind of scroll down through this page a little bit, we can see some strategies here that are listed for writing an effective conclusion. And I think these are all really good. The first one here says to play the so what game. And I like this because really your job, as I said, is to make your reader care about this issue and to convince them that they need to ponder this further. So while you're reading through your conclusion, go through each sentence and ask yourself, well, so what? Why should the person who's reading this care? Really, that's your job as the reader to explain that. Everything needs to be really explicit. So don't assume that your reader knows what you're thinking. It's your job to explain why this is important, why they should care, why they should continue thinking about this issue, and possibly even why they should take action, right? Many of the issues that we're discussing in class are things in which you would want your reader to think about and to do something about, right? These are important social justice issues that we're discussing. The second one here, return to the theme or themes in the introduction. So you may have heard other English teachers tell you this. You want to bring your reader full circle, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you're starting your introduction with a strategy such as creating a scenario, right, or a story or an anecdote, go back to that scenario in your conclusion, right? Revisit that scenario and explain how this scenario can help the reader understand better, after having read all of your persuasive writing, how to understand better how that all fits into the bigger picture, right? So it says here, you may also refer to the intro paragraph by using keywords or parallel concepts and images that you also used in the intro. I think that's a really nice way to end the paper. Think of your intro and your conclusion as bookends, right? So there's a definite beginning and an end, and you want to leave the reader with a satisfying conclusion. You want them to feel like you have sufficiently explained the concepts, explained your reasoning, and then gave an ending, right? Finished it out. The third point here says synthesize, don't summarize. This is really critical. In your conclusion, you do want to summarize your main points, but that's not enough. You should really go one step further. So we've talked about synthesizing. What does that mean to synthesize, right? Really, it means to connect the dots for your reader. So as I just said a minute ago, you don't want to assume that your reader can take all of your points and put them all together and paint the bigger picture by themselves. Really, that's your job as the writer to do that for your audience. So synthesizing means putting together all the main points, painting the bigger picture, and just allowing your reader to, or informing your reader, right, as to why this all matters. So similar to one of the introductory strategies, you can include a provocative insight or a quotation that you included in your paper and explain it further in the conclusion. So provocation can be a good thing, right? It can spur people to action or inspire them to do further research or reading, and to share what they've learned with others. So that's another good strategy. propose a course of action, a solution to an issue, or questions for further study. I think for the topics that we delve into in our course, this is especially useful, right? You can propose a course of action. You can try to inspire your reader to participate in this course of action, or you really want to inspire them to, like I said, to care about the issue and to think about ways that they can maybe participate in a potential solution. Last but not least, point to broader implications, right? So you definitely, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but you definitely want to talk about the implications for your reasonings and to paint the broader picture for your reader, to synthesize all those points and to give them a reason to ponder this topic further. So, excuse me. So we also have some strategies to avoid, and I see students do these things all the time. And okay, they're not terrible, but at this point in your academic career, you should be able to come up with something better, right? So you want to avoid certain things like beginning with in conclusion or in summary, in closing, right? We see that all the time. Think of something different, something that's more interesting, something that's more meaningful. You don't want to state the thesis for the first time in the conclusion. So remember, your thesis should always appear at the end of your introductory paragraph, because you want your reader to know from the very beginning what your opinion is and how you plan to convince them that your opinion is the most valid. You don't want to introduce something new at the very end. It's almost unfair to do that to your reader, because you don't want to introduce something new and then just leave them hanging without further explanation. You don't want to just copy your thesis statement over again. You want to elaborate further and explain it. Avoid overly sentimental appeals that are out of character with the rest of the paper. And you should avoid including any new evidence that really should have been one of your talking points in your body paragraphs. So I wanted to keep this video short. I will end it here, but you should definitely, as I said earlier, read through this handout really carefully, and not just read it once, but to revisit it every time you're writing. And that will definitely help you to improve your approach in writing conclusions for your papers. Thanks.